Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of our cruise on the Disney Magic, which we just got back from about 7 weeks ago. I made a cruise vlog of that cruise, so you can go ahead and watch it. I will link it above. But there's just so much that happened on that cruise, and it was our first time on one of the smaller ships, so I wanted to do a reaction video of everything that happened on our cruise. So let's get into it.
You got me thinking, whoa. I don't know how we got here. Oh my, I think we better run. We ought to leave this place tonight. I'm telling you. Pack up your suitcase.
So just a second for a little bit of context. This was our first time on one of the smaller ships, like I said. And so we were a little bit nervous before getting on the cruise if there would be enough to do, if there would be enough for our kids to do. And so that's some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing is our experience with everything on the Disney Magic. We've been on the Magic, the Dream, and the Fantasy so far. And so I'll just go ahead and say right off the bat that we had an incredible experience on the Magic. There was still plenty of things to do for our whole family. We have 2 kids that are 5 and 7, and they had an absolute blast on this vacation.
We'll find a new place. We'll cross the border. Can't stay no longer in this town.
So this was our first time sailing out of Galveston. The other 4 times we've sailed out of Port Canaveral. We did a whole video, my husband and I, about pros and cons of sailing out of Galveston, but overall we had a great experience with it. I will link that video above. We weren't sure how it was going to be because it was a different port, and Galveston doesn't have a dedicated Disney cruise port like Port Canaveral does, so it's kind of like an off-peak port, I guess you could say. It's not like their primary port, essentially. They have like all temporary signage. They only sail out of Galveston for part of the year, and we think that that contributes to a lower price for their cruises because it's not like as ideal to people to sail out of Galveston. Obviously the parks aren't there, so you can't go to the parks and go on the cruise. And there's no Disney resorts in the area, so all that stuff combined kind of, I think, plays into the price of the cruise. But overall we had a great experience at the Galveston port.
Are you ready to go? We can take it right, we can take it slow. Yo, well, it's my law.
Captain, you again?
This cruise ship is so much smaller than the other 2 that we've been on, like I said. And so we found that we just would keep seeing the same people a lot throughout the cruise. So that, I mean, that guy was just in front of us in line, but it definitely had a different feeling being a smaller ship. We'll say a little bit later in the video that everything's a little bit more packed in, but there's just as much to do. But it didn't feel like the huge crowds of people like you feel on the bigger ships.
Guys, where are we? You're on the wrong side, Ed.
Look at those! Yeah! Disney Magic!
Things that you won't regret. We are kings of the world.
Newell.
Newell? Disney Magic is from the Newell family.
So let's talk about the atrium for a second. When we were doing all of our research before getting on this cruise, we were like, wow, this atrium's like super small. And I've watched other cruise videos where people are like, look at this tiny atrium compared to the ones on the bigger ships. And I know even on the Wish, we haven't been on the Wish yet, but I've seen videos and the atrium's huge. It really did not have any impact on our cruise. Yeah, when you walk in immediately, it's like, this is so tiny, but you don't really spend any time there. It's just a place that you walk through. The only gathering that we had in there was for the diaper dash, if you've ever been to that, where they have babies racing on the floor. And it was crowded in there for that, but it was fine. The atrium really, it makes no impact on your cruise. So it is a little bit shocking that it's small, but it's fine.
Disney Magic is from the Newell family.
Wave hi to Mickey. Wave to Mickey.
Look at the Fisher family.
Cayman.
Where are we?
All the way to the top, buddy. Go to your right. Follow your sister.
Harrison,
To the right.
see Piper? So we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the actual video, Ed and I, but we were the first ones on the pool deck. We walked past where they wanted us to stop for lunch, and we were like, no, we don't want to have a sit-down lunch right now. We want to get straight outside. And we ended up being the first ones on the slides and in the pool, and I definitely would recommend that because we had so much time out there by ourselves. Throughout the cruise, you still have plenty of times where you can be out there with not very many people, like first thing in the morning or in the evening. But this was just such a fun time to get to experience all of that for the first time without huge crowds of people. Okay, we just got on the Magic and I can't even talk, I'm so excited. Everything that we were nervous about doesn't matter. Like, we were a little bit afraid we were a little afraid there wouldn't be enough for the kids and that it would be too small and they would miss the other slides, but I mean, they're already diving in and going crazy.
We are kings of the world, and tonight is our playground. We are kings of the world, and anyway. Hey, look at mommy right here. And tonight.
Okay, so this right here is the big yellow slide. If you've been on the Fantasy and the Dream, you know about the yellow slide on those ships. This one's a little bit bigger, but it is for adults as well. I was a little bit worried about that before getting on the cruise because I was like, the adults are going to clog up the line and like the kids are going to have to wait. That didn't happen at all. The only time adults were on it, I think, was when like a parent was going with a kid and there was hardly ever a line versus like the aqueduct on the larger ships where there's often a long line. This one had a line occasionally, but it was never more than 5 minutes, I think. So that was super nice and the kids absolutely loved this slide.
We are kings of the world.
So they have something similar to this on the Fantasy. It's on the deck above the pool deck. These areas are only for potty trained kids. So even though it looks like it would be acceptable for a kid in swim diapers because it's not the actual pool, it's not. You're not allowed to walk through it. You're not allowed to hold a kid in a diaper in it. We got in trouble almost immediately the first day for having a kid in a diaper in there. And I just thought that was disappointing because it looks so inviting to a kid that age that just wants to like play in puddles and stomp around and splash, and it's not for them. And I'll talk a little bit later about the difference between the diaper area on the larger ships versus this ship. But I just thought it was disappointing that this area looks like it would be geared for kids that age and it's not for them.
Every night I'm going out looking, texting back. I want you, hit you up. I'm on the other side. I miss you, take you off.
So if you can see that little red light, green light thing they have at the top of the slide, that made it really nice for us to be able to send our kids up there without supervision because they knew exactly when they could go down. And once they learned that system, there seemed to be no problems at all. I say without supervision, we were sitting in a spot where we could see up to where the slide was, but to go up with them every time, like no parents were doing that because the kids would ride it like again and again, dozens and dozens of times. So it made it nice that they had that system. And then the attendant at the bottom of the slide also has a camera, like there's a camera at the top with a monitor that he can see if he needs to talk to the kids up there.
I came your way to strong, cannot keep it low key. Got me drugged, your pheromones hit the roof, bottle your taste. It's really a bad reception out there. Where you heading? Why you gravity pulling you in close?
Okay, so this right here is the entire area for kids that are not potty trained. It's just these 3 little ducks with like some bubbling fountains, and the ducks spit water out of their mouths. And it's cute for like a minute, a few minutes every day, but it's nothing compared to Nemo's Reef on the larger ships. Even on the Wish, I know they have like a Toy Story themed something for kids still in swim diapers. I get that there's not as much room on this ship, so I don't know what a solution would be, but this was very disappointing. I thought, we don't personally have kids in swim diapers, but obviously we were with somebody that has, with a kid that has a swim diaper. For a ship that's geared towards families, a lot of families are going to have little kids, and this just was not a good option, and it cuts out a lot of families that have kids in that age range, even if they have older kids that would be super happy in the pools or on the slides on a ship, but they also have a younger child. Like, this wouldn't do it for my kids. I know that for sure.
I've lost you, but I need you, and you're off my radar.
Where are we?
The Disney Magic.
That Disney Magic.
Their first time on one of the original ships. I think this is the first Disney cruise ship. And I could be wrong. It's either this one or the one third.
Yeah. It's a lot smaller than the Dream and the Fantasy, but just as fun.
It doesn't feel smaller. It maybe things are more packed in, but it doesn't seem like there's less.
Right. Yeah.
It feels just like the walkways are a little tighter.
Yeah. A little bit more dense.
Yeah.
Places.
Atrium's a little smaller.
The kids are having a blast. We skipped lunch whenever we got onto the ship, which allowed us to come up to the pool deck and have it all to ourselves.
Yeah, we were the first ones in the pools and on the slide.
So
What's it called? Twist and Spout?
Yeah. It seems
Which is amazing. The
Yeah.
kids love that Twist and Spout.
so fun, super fast for kids and adults. Whenever you board the ship, it's almost implied that you're going to go eat, and
They
which
tell
is
you.
fine.
Yeah, they direct you towards.
But you don't have to get in line for food, and you can just come right
Just
up
walk past
to the
it.
pool,
Yeah.
and then the Cabana's buffet opens up, and you can just go get food whenever.
Yeah, Cabana's was open. The quick service, like Duck and Diner, and
Forget the other name.
I don't even know the other names
Yeah.
yet. But those were open.
Yeah,
And so there was nobody at them, so I just grabbed a burger and fries there.
yeah.
I also was a little bit nervous about the quick service options on the pool deck, because we love the quick service food on the larger ships. And again, it was not a disappointment. They had Duck and Diner, which is like the hot dogs, sandwiches, stuff like that. They also had hummus. They had like a bunch of, like, they had like a whole veggie window with like dips and veggies and I don't know. And then they also had Daisy's Delights, which is like wraps and sandwiches, I think. And then they had Pinocchio's Pizzeria. And I think also at Pinocchio's Pizzeria was a bar. So it definitely lived up to the larger ships as far as what they had to offer.
While the kids are playing out here.
That's your hot tip.
Highly recommend coming straight to the pools when you get on.
Skip the sit-down lunch whenever you board.
I think it goes without saying that looking out over the top deck is one of the best things about being on a cruise ship, just looking out at the water and being in that relaxing environment. I stopped it here because I wanted to show one of the differences that we were a little bit disappointed with on the Magic versus the larger ships. And that is that the area with the big movie screen and the pool is separate from the kids' pool area, whereas on the larger ships, there's 2 pools, and then behind the 2 pools is the swim diaper area, and there's tons of beach chairs, and that's all in one area. The adult-only pool is in a different area, but that's quiet. But on this ship, there was just like the one big pool and the screen, and then you can see the big, whatever you call that, smokestack thing. And then on the other side of that is the little kids pool with the yellow slide and the splash pad area with the buckets and the Donald's nephews and stuff. So we did not have much time at all in view of the movie screen, which is one of our favorite things on the ship. So that was a bummer for us. Of course, we were occupied with watching our kids and just sitting out in the sun, but we love being able to see the screen. So it was a bummer that that was not accessible to us on the kids' side of the ship.
At this moment, no one can tell where we should go. Oh, it's coming. We thought we had it, the truth about our common soul. That it was fantasy, nothing to put belief in. As soon as we saw the ocean, we knew what we had become, defying our own emotion, pretending land was our own. We couldn't embrace the notion.
One of the things that I was also considering whether it would be different or not is the weather in Galveston and in the Gulf at this time of year. Like I said, we normally sail out of Port Canaveral, which is in the Atlantic, of course. And I just didn't know if the weather would be colder sailing out of Galveston, even though we were going farther south. We did the Western Caribbean this time. We've also done the Western Caribbean out of Port Canaveral, but last year at this exact same time, we did, I think it was just a Bahamas cruise out of Port Canaveral. So it didn't go far enough south to be that warm. But the weather in Galveston at the beginning of January felt almost exactly the same as it did in Port Canaveral the same time last year. So that wasn't an issue at all. It was probably in the 70s that first day, but since it's so sunny, you're able to go swimming and it's totally fine. And then, of course, the farther south you sail, the warmer it gets. So it was definitely not a problem for us sailing out of Galveston in January as far as the weather goes.
That we were meant for something more, something beautiful.
Keep going. Oh, mommy.
Keep going.
Keep going.
It's right there.
Do you see your suitcase? Hi, how are you? Take your key out.
Hello.
You're gonna take it out.
Where's my key?
It's inside the envelope. Look, rip this part right here. Yep, rip it open. Take out the one that says Harrison. Can you see one that says Harrison? Oh, it's the first one. Now hold it up till the light turns green.
There you go.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Do you like it?
There's a trash can right there.
Oh, sorry, Papa.
Where's our bed?
Remember, he's gonna pull it down from up high.
So again, a comparison between the smaller magic ship versus the Fantasy and the Dream. The room was exactly the same. This is our first time sailing without a veranda, but as far as the room itself, the layout was the same, the size was the same, even the furniture and the decor was exactly the same. So if you're afraid that it's going to be smaller on the smaller ship, it's not. The dresser and like shelving situation is a little bit different, but not worse. It might even be better actually on the Magic because they have like this chest of drawers that you're able to put stuff in and on top.
Right there.
Yeah, that's gonna be your bed.
I'm gonna sweep on top.
Okay.
Piper, look out our window. Look.
Whenever we leave, we'll be able to see the ocean out there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That'll be cool.
We're on the Mickey boat.
So I did a video on this recently about why we decided to go with the porthole this time, and it mainly was for cost reasons, but also for safety and peace of mind reasons. The main reason we decided to go with the porthole was because it was cheaper. So on this cruise, this was our first time doing what's called a stateroom guarantee room. So on every other cruise we've been on, we choose what type of room we want and where it is on the ship. This time we said, we just want a porthole and you can choose where it is. So basically what happens is you don't get your room assignment until like the week before your cruise, and you're guaranteed at least a porthole room if not higher. So it's basically whatever they have left, whatever they haven't sold a week before your cruise comes, that then they assign you a room at that time. So we don't have a problem with seasickness, so we didn't care if we were aft or forward. And we didn't really care about the veranda this time, so we just went with the porthole and we ended up loving it. It was totally fun. So that's just another way to keep your costs down if you want to get on a Disney cruise.
Mickey Mouse! Are you excited?
Yeah.
Me too.
That we were meant for something more, something beautiful, something beautiful. At this moment, it's time to tell where we should go. But how can I be sure?
See if it sticks. There we go.
Mickey Mouse.
Good job.
They can't be on the dots.
What is your section?
Mine can't be on the dots.
Okay.
And 5.
Take 5 up or who left there?
Tina. Tina.
Can I put it up here?
Yeah.
There we go. Whoa, that one's way up there.
Plenty.
Look good?
Yeah.
Disney magic makes some noise.
This was our first time getting to see the Sail Wave party. It's a different deck party on the Dream and the Fantasy, but regardless, the deck parties haven't been back on the 2 cruises that we've been on since COVID. We went on one in 2021 and one in 2022, and they didn't have the deck parties back yet, at least like the big ones like this. And that has always been one of our favorite things. When we went before COVID, it was like one of the best parts of the cruise, just like such a fun time to like kick off your cruise and the characters come out and everything. And it's also just a cool thing that you get to experience on the Disney cruise, being so close to the characters. You'll see in this deck party how close the characters get to you. And that's just one thing that we love about the Disney cruise, is the access that you have that you wouldn't get at the parks, where the characters are constantly walking around. You don't have to wait in super long lines to meet them. And it's just like one of the major perks of being on a cruise ship with a limited amount of people versus the thousands and thousands of people that are at the parks every day.
Hey,
So for whatever reason, our kids spent so much more time in the Oceaneers Club this time than they have on any other cruise that we've ever been on. The Oceaneers Club is different. It has different decor than it does on the other ships, but not better or worse. It's just different. You're going to see that there's different Marvel characters. There's this Toy Story room. There's just so many things to do in there. But for whatever reason, our kids spent hours and hours in there and didn't want to, I mean, they would skip meals to just be in there longer. They would go after dinner, have pajama parties, meet characters in there, all kinds of things. So we had a great experience in the Oceaneers Club on this cruise.
Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone.
I'm sailing a boat out in the sea. It's so fun to hear. It's so fun to hear. It is sailing a regular boat out in the sea where there's animals like dolphins, whales. It's so fun to hear. Boom.
That was the greatest song I've ever heard.
Come on in, the party's about to start. Hi. Oh, no. Hello. Where's the rest of your shoes?
Say, where's your dreams?
Did you lose your shoe?
Don't forget, you're going out club. Do you remember what you said you're gonna do? And keep on up.
So we ate at Rapunzel's Royal Table 4 different times on this cruise between the 3 dinners and then the last day we had breakfast there. And I was tired of it by the end. The decor in there is so cute. I love that this is a restaurant on the cruise ship. An interesting thing that they had as an option for this cruise was that beforehand, when you were planning on the Disney Cruise Line website, you could make a request to be like close to you could make a request where you wanted your table to be at the 3 dinner locations. And I think the choices were like close to the entertainment, or you could be like on the outskirts, like near a wall or in a quiet environment. I think there was another choice as well, but we chose to be close to the entertainment because the dinners are pretty long and like the kids need to be entertained. They barely can last that whole time. A lot of times we'd have to leave early anyway. So this was our first dinner and we were nowhere close to the entertainment. I mean, it was fine, but the fact that you can make a request, I just thought it was odd that they opened up that option to make a request. And then it was like, we were so far away from the entertainment, especially in a restaurant that doesn't have like screens or anything. The main entertainment was on the stage where Rapunzel would be singing and dancing or whatever. They did have a few things where the kids like got up and danced around, and that was really, really fun, but that would be like a 2-minute thing during a dinner. So it didn't provide like that much entertainment or things for the kids to do to get through the dinner. So I don't know. It's not a huge complaint. I just thought it was weird that like you can make that request, but then it didn't get granted.
Yes, excuse us. Very important ruffians coming through. Sorry. Hello. You can't respond. Hello. King and queen, the princess came before you. They just got to say we all adore you. We get so very glad to hear that my trust idea. This time we come to talk to your princess here.
Good morning, this is day 2 on the Disney Magic. It is almost 8 o'clock and Harrison's just waking up and we're gonna get going to breakfast. It opened at 7:30, So Ed and Piper are already there, but we're gonna get moving now. Today is just a day at sea, so we're going to play on the slides and in the pools and meet some characters today, hopefully. I think Spider-Man might be out, Harrison, and Thor, and somebody else. Captain America.
So I think this was our favorite layout of the cruise of anyone that we've been on. So what I mean by that is we had embarkation day where we got to explore the ship and go swimming and all that stuff. And then we had a day at sea, which was super fun because again, we get to go swimming and like meet characters and do all that fun stuff that's like new and exciting being on the ship. And then we had 3 port days. We went to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica. So we got off the ship every time and did different things. And then we had 2 more days at sea, that was the part that we specifically loved because it wasn't like you're at port and then you get back on the ship and go to dinner and then suddenly you're going home. It was like we got those 2 extra days, which made it feel like we really got to do everything that we wanted to do. If there was anything that we missed out on, we had those 2 days to like make sure that we squeezed that in. And we've been on 7-day cruises before where it just felt too long. But this one felt like a great amount of time because we were doing different things all the time. We went to 3 different ports and then we got those extra days to like wrap up all the fun things that there are to do on the cruise ship.
And Captain Marvel too. Today is a sea day and then we have 3 days at ports, different ports, and then we have 2 more days at sea. So we have a long way to go and we're so excited. I will say another thing that we were interested to see if we liked was the porthole. Instead of having the veranda, we always have had the veranda on every Disney cruise we've been on. This is our 5th one, and this is our first one only having a porthole. And we have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, so we were just interested in doing the porthole, 1, because it's cheaper, and 2, because we just wouldn't have to worry about the veranda, especially at night. Like I always like triple check and make sure it's locked because obviously we have the curtains shut and then the kids are on this side with the veranda on their side. So we decided to go with the porthole this time, and I will say we love it. It gives us that same exact feeling of being able to look out and we can see everything, at least at this point in our life, and for the amount of cost difference that we paid for the porthole versus the veranda, we are totally happy with the porthole. So thumbs up on that one.
One interesting thing about the Disney cruise ships that I think I've always found to be the case is that people don't get up early. So I think this footage was from between like 8 and 9 in the morning. And for us, our kids have already been up for 2 or more hours at that point. And so if you're out and about at that time, I think normally the pools open at 8:30 or 9. Sometimes they open earlier than they're supposed to if everything's ready, which is really cool. But if you're out there and you're able to be the first one in the pool, there's normally going to be nobody else there. As you can see, there's no line for this slide. There's hardly anyone else waiting for the pool at that time. Everybody's just getting up and getting breakfast by that time, which is great for them and great for us. Like, it's great that they got to stay up late and do all the fun things late at night or whatever, and they got to sleep in. Our kids just don't sleep in, so it's super cool that if you are an early riser, there's so much that you can do without having a ton of people, competing for that area.
Daddy, come on!
Bye, Piper.
Daddy! Daddy!
Sit on your bum. Bye. Go. Bye. It's currently 9:12 in the morning, and the pool is just open at 9. The slide was supposed to open at 9:30 and actually opened early. It's been an early morning. Piper got up at 7, and so even the cabanas, the buffet, didn't even open until 7:30. So we've kind of been trying to find something to do while she woke up at 6. So between 6 and 7:30, we kind of had to, occupy her in the room. Then we went at 8, then we walked around the ship, watched some Aladdin, and then because the pool's open early, we got to come here. and it's a little chilly. It's a little chilly because the sun's not hitting us yet, but the ship's at capacity. It's like 2,700 is the capacity, and we're at 2,559. And even at capacity, you know, we're 9:15 and no one's outside yet. We got the pool to ourselves, we got the slide to ourselves, and it's pretty awesome. Again, because the sun's not hitting us quite yet, we're a little cold. But Piper is still rocking. Harrison's still been in the pool. Harrison's still gone down the slide. So it's a fun day. Hold on, wait. Bye, Piper.
So that little clip right there was Piper getting in trouble for something that she did in the pool, which was, so you're not allowed to jump in the pool, which our kids had no problem with. Like, you can't jump off the edge into the pool. They would do this thing where they would jump forward and land in the water, and already being in the pool, like, just almost like body surf without a wave. They would just like push their feet off and jump with the top half of their body. They were not allowed to do that. All of our kids got in trouble several different times for doing that. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was going to be a hard thing to tell kids not to do. Whatever. We survived. We never got kicked out of the pool, I guess. So that's a good thing.
I'm a butterfly who has only begun.
Harrison. It's beach day. You ready to go eat breakfast? Piper, say hi.
Hi.
Are you excited to go to the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright guys, ready?
So I've gotten lots of questions about which excursion this was. This is called Playa Mia Grand Beach, I believe. On the Disney Cruise Line website, when you're booking excursions, I think it's called the Cozumel Beach Break, and our kids loved it. It has a ton of these little slides that you can slide down. It also has a big slide that we'll show a little bit later, but you have to be able to swim to go on that slide. It also has a big pool and an adults-only hot tub, and then, of course, the beach, and lunch is included. So we had a great time at this excursion.
Sit down, you're gonna slip. Piper! Okay. Now do it! Right, look, there's Harrison. Do it together. Going again?
Good job.
Good job, buddy.
Okay, that was so much fun.
You what?
It goes really fast, he's just not heavy.
There's an iguana over here.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's a big one.
So like I said, this is in Cozumel, Mexico. We actually had 2 different incidents with our kids that required first aid, and we had a great experience with, I guess it was this Playa Mia beach place, like whatever place this pool is associated with. They had first aid people that were there to help us, and they took our information and everything. We never ended up paying anything for it. Actually, when we got back on the cruise ship, we wanted to go see the medic on the ship to make sure that everything was okay. And we found out that it was going to be a lot of money, like hundreds of dollars. And we were like, we just want to make sure like it's not infected or whatever. And so we just ended up going to the front desk and just getting Band-Aids for free because we were like, we'll just keep an eye on it and make sure everything looks okay. So we really just had a good experience with like the emergency services there in Cozumel. Where are we, Beth?
At the beach.
We're at a pool at the beach, right? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our first
Time at the Mickey boat, and we go on 2 buses to the beach.
one bus to the beach.
One
This
bus.
is our first time in Cozumel, and this is our first stop on this Mickey boat, right?
Yeah.
Where are we?
I want to try this one more city.
Okay, where are we?
Mexico.
Mexico!
Mom, you
All right.
go over there and I'll swim to you.
No, you swim to the wall and then I'll go over there.
Okay.
Okay, go.
One step forward and another back. I would never try to fool ya. I'm one heartbeat away from going mad. Girl, when you're looking like that. Closer, closer, I'ma get closer to you. Yeah, got me, baby, got me hooked on you once again. Girl, I need you. How many times do I wanna yell? 'Cause we could be so complete. Baby, I'll never want anyone new. I was on the bed and you undressed. Baby, when I pulled you in and felt your breath, then I knew the girl I need you. Smiling like that, I could never resist it. Smiling like that, I could never resist it. Smiling like that, I could never resist it. Every moment is another chance. Loving you is all I wanted. I'm wide open for
Animator's Palate, this restaurant is my favorite restaurant on any Disney cruise ship. It is different on the Magic than it is on the bigger ships. As you can see, it's all white and they kind of add color with lights. This is the first time I've ever seen Sorcerer Mickey at Animator's Palate, so that's really cool. But there's just always so much to look at, so many interesting things around, things going on the screens. Of course, all the drawings and artwork and stuff. So yeah, by far my favorite restaurant on any of the cruise ships. So one of our waiters made that little paper bird thingy for Harrison, and we just have such a good experience with all of our waiters on all the Disney cruises. They just are very attentive. They love the kids. They're so friendly. They'll always talk to you. They'll always do their best to get you whatever you ask for. Our first night on this cruise ship, we actually had a different waiter that was like kind of surly and like not that warm and friendly. And then the next night we had a different waiter that just showed up and acted like he had been there the whole time. And we were like, what? And he wouldn't really tell us what happened, but we think he was probably sick the night before. And the other waiter that we had the first night was filling in from like Paulo, the like adults. I think it's an adults only restaurant that you have to pay more for. But essentially we were like, that makes sense because if he's normally a Paulo waiter, he's not used to like this like chaotic environment with all the kids and this menu. And it's like a whole different thing. And so he might have just been like not excited to be there. But other than that, like our experience with our waiters has always been so good. So treat your waiters good on the cruise ships because they go through a lot. They work so hard and they get hardly any breaks. So they deserve to be treated well at least.
Look at those cool window seats, bub.
All right, we've had some on over. Let's go get them.
Piper, wait.
My goodness, I know. Ooh, is it a little chilly in here? Yeah, so we brought the chill in mine. Hi, kiddo. A nice handshake. I like it. Can you have a high five? Good high five. Very nice.
Hi, Vicky.
Gotta wave hello to the camera. Yes, do you have a favorite Avenger? Can you guess which his favorite is? Who doesn't salute? Not Superman, he's on your shirt. He's up at the top. It's Captain America! He loves Captain America!
Which one's your favorite?
Thanos. Thanos is your favorite! You're gonna collect all the Infinity Stones? Yes. Just don't snap your fingers though.
One of the things I love again about meeting the characters on the cruise ships is that they're able to spend so much more time with you because it's just like a limited audience. Everyone has so many opportunities to meet the characters and so they can just spend that extra time like talking to you and stuff. I know in the parks we've never spent this much time with a character. It's normally just like say hi, take a picture, and then we just feel like it's all like a big whirlwind and then we're gone after we've waited in line for an hour if we didn't have Genie Plus reservation or whatever. So it's just nice that you get to take advantage of that, having a limited amount of people on the cruise ship.
No snapping. You can snap without the gauntlet, that's fine. Do a little dance. But if you've got all of them, no good. There we go. Big hug to Mickey.
Would you like to say bye? You want to give Mickey a hug?
Oh, you got a little nose poop. Boop boop.
How about you, Piper?
Aww.
You say bye-bye?
Very nice. Thank you very much, my friend.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, Mickey. Bye, friend. Mickey.
Este proceso es llamado servicio de tender. Si usted y su familia o grupo están listos, se comenzará a desembarcar de las siguientes maneras. Si usted quiere una excursión.
I wanna give you a million things, 'cause isn't love what it's all?
Okay, so when we went to Grand Cayman, we actually weren't able to pull all the way up to the dock. They let down the anchor like offshore, and then we had to get on a smaller boat that took us to the dock so that we could get off. And that was just a cool experience. We've never gotten to do that before. And there was also another Disney cruise ship there. I think it was the Dream. So it was just cool to see another Disney cruise ship that we've also been on at the same port as us.
All right. Whew. Just getting in the water. We are at Grand Cayman. We took a taxi from the port to the Kimpton Seafire Resort Hotel, where they have a public restaurant on the beach. And so we got to eat there. It was awesome. Amazing pina coladas. And they have a restroom available there too, which is super nice. And since we're patrons, like, we can use it. And we're just hanging out here. We don't have an umbrella, and all the way down there is a public beach with some public umbrellas, but we're just, you know, we're going for it. The sun is bright, we got sunscreen on, and we're just hoping for like an hour with the kids here to play, and then we're gonna take a taxi back. But we're here, Grand Cayman, the sun is shining, kids are all playing, having a great time.
We don't have to think about it, oh baby, try to rest your mind.
So the reason why we took a taxi to this beach was actually because the beach excursion through Disney Cruise Line was sold out. So that was maybe one of my worst experiences with Disney Cruise Line in general. I haven't had too many. If you want to, you can check out my video about like our least favorite things about the Disney cruise ship. But honestly, like, they're very minimal complaints. But this was maybe a little bit bigger one because I know a lot of people don't feel safe getting on a cruise ship without like your cruise sponsored excursions. So we actually got off of our ship and found a taxi and took it to a beach. I totally understand when excursions get sold out, if it's like dolphin encounters or hiking or zip lining or whatever, but for an excursion to get sold out when it's just taking people to the beach, I think should not happen. I think there should at least be backups or some way to allow people to somehow get off the ship and go to the beach through the cruise line. So that is something that I would definitely like to see improved on future cruises, is just to give everyone an opportunity to get off the beach through Disney Cruise Line.
I wanna catch you like every time that you fall. I wanna give you the world that is outside your wall. If I was God, I would save you, take you where you belonged. If I could, I would give something new, then I would have what it takes, make you feel like you're safe, 'cause all I need is just someone like you, someone like you, someone like you. Yeah, I just need someone like you, someone like you.
She's going swimming.
Yeah, go take it to Daddy.
Alright, you guys
Should be easy, why should it not? When all you want is to be loved, is to be loved. But love ain't easy, you taught me that. I let you in, now you want out, now you want out. I don't understand why you hurt me. I don't understand why you wanna let me down, can't understand.
Oh, you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? You excited?
Yeah.
Oh, pirate night tonight on the Mickey boat.
Yeah, the Mickey boat.
We're gonna go back, we're gonna have a donut.
Oh, the wave!
Say bye.
Bye. Whoa!
Now I wrote a song about us, just trying to fill that empty space you left behind. You left behind, you left behind, you left behind. You left behind, you left behind. Can someone help me to find love again?
Harrison thought it was so funny that Mr. Smee's feet were huge. And then Mr. Smee's like, you have the same shoes on as I do.
'Cause all I want is to be loved, is to be loved. Can someone free me from all my doubts? Feels like a prison, I want out, now I want out. I don't understand why you hurt me. I don't understand why you wanna let me down, can't understand. Was it all worth it? You played
So we love Pirate Night on the Disney cruises. It's just a fun themed day where all the characters are in the pirate costumes. There's just so many fun things to do throughout the day. So this was just something that was going on in the D Lounge, I believe, which is 1 or 2 floors above the atrium, I think. Just like a fun little game show thing that they were doing before dinner. And there's just always something to do if you have like a little bit of time, or if there's like an interim between 2 things that you're doing. The smaller cruise ship really did not disappoint as far as things that there were to do for any age, even if you didn't want to be involved in this. Like, it's just something to do, something to go sit at, and a cute little thing to watch. There's also like different lounges that you can go to. We didn't even go to any of the adults only lounges because we always had the kids for the most part. But there were so many more things that we didn't get to take advantage of. So yeah, the smaller ship didn't have less activities by any means.
So cool. Did you get to go under the limbo stick? Cool.
Well, Rainbow's one more goofy! You know the section that's not gonna go.
What this celebration really needs is a great hook. And now you have one. Oh dear! Well, folks, I promised you a party, so here's a party in the sky!
So this was definitely one of the most crowded times I had ever been on probably any Disney cruise ship. It just felt so crowded at this time for whatever reason. You can see there's tons of people out there. And I've been to other pirate parties and deck parties, and it just felt so crowded this time. But the fireworks was the best part of this show. It's just so cool to see fireworks on a cruise ship when you know you're out in the middle of the ocean. Just such a fun feeling.
Alright, so guess what? I'm going to turn it over to the professor.
We are in Jamaica at, I forget the name of it. We'll put it on the screen. Pico something beach, and it's great. The kids are playing. It's about a 30-minute ride from the cruise port, but getting off the ship was super easy again with Disney. You get handed to a Jamaican tour guide as soon as you come off, and they lead you to the to the van, drives you here, drops you off, gives you all the instructions, all the things. So really, really great. And there's a pool. We get lunch included, but there's also like a bar and other things you can pay for more food and drink. But the beach area here is super soft sand and it's very shallow. So the kids are able to play completely on their own, which is super nice. There's also this like floating obstacle course thing, but you have to be able to swim on your own. So the kids aren't probably gonna be able to do it, but maybe I can go out there.
I'll try to swim to you, Dad.
Okay.
So I really wanted Harrison to go on this obstacle course with me, and he just didn't want to. He's able to swim on his own, so he would have been allowed to do it. I think I even signed him up for it, and he didn't end up doing it. But I still wanted to do it because I was like, I'm here. I paid for this excursion, so I want to do it. It was very hard. They only take like a group of 10 or 12 or something at a time. And I was the last one in my group, so I got to watch everyone ahead of me do it first, which helped me a little bit. I never fell off the whole time because I was able to get tips from other people's failures. But it was just so much fun. You look like an idiot doing it, but it's just one of those things that's like, just go ahead and do it. It was fun. So the formal night on this cruise was different than any other formal night that we've seen on a Disney cruise. They had live music, which we've seen before, but they were also handing out free wine, beer, and a mixed drink. I'm not sure what the mixed drink was, but we have never seen them hand out drinks during formal night before, so we thought that was super interesting and fun, a fun addition to formal night.
Honestly, first of all, thank you so much.
Hey, what are you recording?
Oh, yeah, you got it. You make it easy to be easy. Yeah.
What? Turn it around. Look, I'll show you. Hold it up like this. Look, there's your mom. Hold it up. Look, there's your... What? Look, your finger's covering it.
I just wanna hold you close. I feel your heart so close.
This was another fun thing we got to do between dinner and the show. There was just like constantly things to do. Again, while you're waiting to go do the next thing, we would go hang out in this little lounge, and they had like free chips and salsa and guac, and then they had live music. This night they had a 90s night with this guy playing 90s songs, so that was fun.
Stay lost in this moment for all the rest of time. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, say hi.
So towards the end of the cruise, we started eating breakfast and lunch out here on the deck, and I don't know what took us so long to do that. It was so much nicer than eating inside, just being able to look out at the water while you're eating.
Come on!
How's your chicken?
So this is one of Harrison's chicken strips. He has a ton of food allergies, and they would make him these chicken strips every night for dinner, and he would eat a couple of them and save the rest, take them back to the room, put them in the fridge, and then for the rest of the week, he would snack on these chicken strips. He would take one first thing in the morning, or he would take one while we were walking out to the pool, whatever. So it was just such a nice thing that he found a food that he really loves when he's limited in so many foods that he can't have.
Oh, they're beautiful. Come right over this way.
So this is the Princess Gathering. This is something that you could sign up before the cruise on the Disney Cruise Line website, like the onboard activities, and it was free. And it was like a really nice thing because you got to meet all 4 of these princesses, and like you pick a specific time slot where you want to come. The only thing that I don't really understand about it is that these princesses were out throughout the cruise where you could meet them. I'm pretty sure all of them were out at some point before this. This was towards the end of the cruise, this Princess Gathering. So by this point, we had already seen most of these princesses. So I guess I just don't really understand the point of the Princess Gathering. I get like having a scheduled time to come meet them, but like kids are going to want to meet them when they see them. They're not going to wait the whole cruise until their Princess Gathering time slot. So I think maybe it would have been understandable if they were like exclusive princesses that hadn't been out the whole rest of the cruise that you got to meet for the Princess Gathering. Now, don't get me wrong, our Piper was just as excited to go meet the princesses for this gathering on the last or second to last day of the cruise or whatever it was. I guess I just didn't understand the point of booking this event when we had already met them before on the cruise.
Say hi, Minnie.
Oh my goodness.
She likes your dress. Do you like her dress? Oh, spin around.
Very nice.
Yeah, you like to dress up, Piper? I think Minnie likes to dress up too, in all her costumes.
Lots of different outfits. Her closet is huge.
Yeah, I bet she has just as many costumes as you have. Would you like to take a picture with Minnie?
Want to take a picture, princess?
Okay.
I'm going to look over at my friend Jenna. Okay?
You want to give her a big hug?
Very nice.
Okay. Aw, say bye, Minnie.
So this meet and greet was right in the area where the shops are, and that was another thing. I was wondering if it was going to be smaller on the Disney Magic versus the Dream and the Fantasy as far as like how many stores they had and how big they were. I didn't even buy anything for myself on this cruise. I just like looking, and so I was hoping that there wouldn't be less on the Magic than there is on the Fantasy. The kids each got a little toy, and then they also had like an adult store with different coffee cups and clothes and luggage and all kinds of things, like super fun things to look at. So I wasn't disappointed at the difference.
See you later, princess.
Mommy, I'm gonna fly.
Okay, come on. This is one of my favorite memories from this vacation. The kids were in the kids club for a very long time that day, and we were able to just sit on that top deck and see the movie screen. You can hear everything, and at the same time it's not loud from the noise of the kids in the pool, just because like of the wind and the ocean. So it's still just as relaxing. They also have waiters that will come and serve you where you're sitting. And they had different characters that would just walk past us whenever. So that was super fun. I think we got to watch like Moana and another movie, maybe Coco, a little bit of Coco, I can't remember. But you can also see the adult slide here. I didn't go on the adult slide this time because our son Harrison really wanted to go on it, and he was like an inch or less too short, so they wouldn't let him go on it. So I didn't have an opportunity to go over there by myself. Maybe next time we're on this ship, we will try it out, but it didn't seem like the line was as long for this slide as it normally is for the Aqua Duck on the Dream and the Fantasy, so that's definitely a plus.
Good job, Piper.
It's a rainbow color.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Piper, that is the coolest shoe I've ever seen.
Yes, it's very artistic, isn't it?
So cool. That's mine. Look how nice everyone looks for formal night.
It's an optional.
Hello, friends.
Tie your napkin around your neck, Sherry, and we provide the rest. So do you, how do, why we only live to serve. One by one, till you shout in laugh and run. Then we'll sing you off to sleep until the carol.
Oh, that's Piper's. That's Piper's. Oh, that's mine right there. With the blue paints and the scribbles.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice, Brad.
He's invisible.
I mean, that's maybe one of the best interactive things they do during the dinner time entertainment, because you get that whole like first half of the dinner to color your picture and then you turn it in. So like that's definitely a time consuming thing that the kids get to do while they're waiting for their meals. And then they're watching that video where their drawings come to life, which is just like brilliant in itself. But that video, the whole thing is probably like 5 minutes long, which is, I mean, just feels like an eternity. But the kids are glued to the screen the whole time because they're looking for their characters. So that's maybe like one of the best interactive entertainment, you know, options that they have at dinner.
See y'all real soon.
Disney magic.
Harrison, Brad's scribble. This is Barry. Brad.
Can we take a picture with you? Say hi, Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man just happened to be walking around in the atrium this day, and we had actually been in line for Spider-Man before, but the Spider-Man lines were always so long, like the longest of any character on the ship. So we normally, like, I think the one other time we waited, it was like, we waited there for a few minutes and then we're like, we'll try this again later. Like, that might have been the first time Spider-Man was out. So we're like, maybe the line will be shorter in the future. And then we just never ended up making it to another meet and greet that he was at. And he just happened to be walking around the foyer. So we were able to meet him and talk to him and get a picture with him. So that's, again, just like one of those super fun opportunities that you get on the ship.
Do it, Harrison. Do what Spider-Man's doing. Sling a web. Good job. Can you say bye? Say thank you. See you later, dude. Is that for Rapunzel's birthday? Yeah, I love it. Good job.
You have the good food, you've got good music playing, and you have good company. So what more could you ask for?
So yeah, this was just one more dinner and entertainment thing that we got to experience, where we made lanterns for Rapunzel's birthday and they finally sang their big song with Flynn Rider. This was our third night eating dinner at Rapunzel's, and Flynn Rider had not been to the other two, so we were waiting for him to be at this one, and he finally showed up. And then the kids were able to dance around the room and just have like a fun ending to dinner and to the cruise. So that was like a super fun thing that they got to experience in Rapunzel's.
How about Maximus?
Maximus? We got all these good things. Do you want the horse to come to the party?
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments for me, please feel free to leave them below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!